We've been talking about loss and why we might go through loss. And one of the reasons could be that it's time for you to stand up for yourself. It's time for you to stop being a doormat, someone that somebody just keeps using over and over again. And I have noticed a pattern, in my own life. This was a big part of my journey, learning to grow a spine, to stand up for myself and really say, enough is enough. And there's a pattern of people who tend to use other people. There are people that are used and there are people who use. And the ones who use tend to make you feel a lot of times, if you're the one being used, that it's your fault somehow. And if you just love enough or you do better or you change or you meet their list of criteria, that somehow it's going to be okay, that somehow you can make this work. And it's usually from a pattern of something in the past that you're trying to work out, that you're trying to fix something that has happened to you before. And it's cyclical. It's really cyclical. Now, I'm not one to say, just especially in marriages, run out of the marriage over the first little bump in the road. I think you should try to work things out. I know I worked through things over and over different times for 28 years before I finally said, okay, I can't do this anymore. But there are certain things I want you to think about, okay? If you're in a situation where someone in your life is bringing you down, dragging you down, or has completely checked out of the relationship, then I want you to ask yourself, how do they deal with things when you confront them? If you confront them and say, I'm not feeling good about this. This seems to be problematic. I'd like for you to consider changing in such and such a way on whatever, however you decide to approach it. If their reactions are one of these 6 reactions, I want you to start noticing the patterns of how they deal with avoiding them having to make the change. Okay? It might be first that they just change the subject. Oh, well, we need to pick up some eggs at the store. Remind me to do that. Okay, and you're in the middle of a conversation and it just disrupts your thinking, or however they change the subject. The second one is they make an excuse for why it's that way and why it's okay that they're doing whatever they're doing. The third thing is they shift the blame onto you or someone else or some other event, or there's something else to blame. It's not them. The fourth is they're going to turn around and guilt trip you. Somehow it's your fault and we're going to run a guilt trip on you. And if you're the type of person who, most of my clients are, if somebody guilt trips you, you go off and work on yourself and you forget about that other person and you're not worried about what they need to do. You go work on you and you're really good on working on you. So if this guilt trip thing works masterfully on someone like that. Number 5 is they just flat out lie and deny whatever it is that you're, trying to address. And the last one is they act really repentant, perhaps throw out something that they, have done that's rather shocking and admit it and be all repentant and remorseful. And you being the good Christ-like person that you are, you want to forgive and you want to make space for this person to change. You give them some time and they go right back to it. They revert back right to it. This cycle of going through these things, people running through these cycles, just, they use these tactics, or I've had them used on me in the past. Just use these tactics until you get down to the one where okay, we'll act remorseful, but okay, you give them some time and they revert back. I mean, there's only so many times that you're going to let somebody keep reverting back. I think people ought to be given some extra chances to change. They ought to be able to get some help. I'm not saying ditch people after the first infraction, second, or maybe even third infraction. And I'm not saying not to forgive, but there are times where you just need to get out of a situation. You are being used, or you need to address this and really get some serious therapy or help on the dynamic of what's going on here. Something to think about, something that was on my mind today, not directly related to loss, but it's related to loss in one aspect of my life. So tune back in and we'll be talking about loss and thriving again.